You need fire support? Demo kill. Artillery destroyed. Leave out the hotel exit. They gon' leave you when you least expect it. I'm expected to be reckless. I don't need acceptance. 10 lines on my necklace. Ocean water for breakfast. Smoking like my lungs infected. Smoking out in Vancouver. I'll be on an all-time high. Pink slip. Catch me sipping in your chai. Do you still wanna die? Sometimes I feel nice. Most times it feels right. Recharge, relive, and re-die. Re-give, A6 on my feet. Ever north and no sleep. Out in Dubai for 3 weeks. Wappy with my team. White phone, no clone. Lean, a broken home. Fuck with me, I'll break bones. Recharge my whole life. Oh, my soul. So feeling so nice. No tomorrow. I'll be getting money like my first name. Currency, switching lanes, switch address like they heard of me. The further we go, I'ma put you in the snow. I'ma leave you where it's cold. Do you wanna recharge? Penthouse on Mars, bars like a prisoner. I could be your minister, dreams looking sinister. I could be your minister, dreams looking sinister. Recharge my whole life. Upload all my sorrow. Smoking, feeling so nice. No tomorrow. No to recharge my whole life. Upload all my sorrow. Smoking, feeling so nice. No tomorrow. Recharge my whole life. Upload all my sorrow. Smoking, feeling so nice. No tomorrow.
Out.
One touch will affect you. Insect groove and I might infect you. Cyber goodness around next to. If I use with the crew, if finesse you. I'm central, meet me by the restroom. Get my power for the drugs, I hope it console. Ice cream, more we melt too. I was on the spider web, but I felt I had a dream that we wasn't gonna make it. Maybe we can. saver. Pull up this on you don't wanna try me tonight. Got your knife on me now. You don't wanna die tonight. Butterflies on me tonight. It makes you fly to the sky. Do you wanna fly tonight? Hey, you don't wanna try me tonight. I got your knife on me now. You don't wanna die tonight. No, butterflies on me tonight. It makes you fly to the sky. Do you wanna fly tonight? I just lost a flex. I smoke all the glitter. Take you off the radar. I know that's better. I get my forward. Come to pick me up. My homies on the way. We do this every day. And she just know that bitch. I'm not too hard when we say. Never seen it.
CSMO.
Ship collected. Unassing out of here. Breakdown wheel for resist.
They don't know what's up. I'm trying to take it for a way. I could have run the year, but yeah, but yeah, that was shit to fame. You don't wanna try me tonight. I got your knife on me now. You don't wanna die tonight. Butterflies on me tonight. It makes you fly to the sky. Do you wanna
Tango
fly
down.
tonight? You don't wanna try me tonight. I got your knife on me now. You don't wanna die tonight. Butterflies on me tonight. It makes you fly to the sky. Do you wanna fly tonight?
Shut out.
Battery drained. Overwatch down.
Enemy FO down.
It's so hard to focus when everything is broken. I know that it's over. I'm trying to hold on. You know that my soul's gone, but let me put this gold on my mind in a dream world. Red white, shadow
Battery drained.
Ready to assault. Really need you. I just
Battery KIN. Battery KIN.
shorty was spinning, sleeping mission, many stones in my necklace, with affection, we worship protection, true religion, t-shirt, true religion, young blood, brown like a super villain. I'm dressed up in key rings, I'm smoking, I see things, ranking on feelings, sunshine and single, party on riding, someone with a lively, I'm in the sky, if he wanna die, I will strike it. I'm dressed up in key rings, I'm smoking, I see things, ranking on feelings, sunshine and single, party on riding, someone with a lively, I'm in the sky, if he wanna die, I will strike it.
I go hard in the motherfucking paint, nigga. Then you stank it, nigga. What the fuck you thinking, nigga? I don't die for this shit or what the fuck I said. Front yard, broad day with the asphalt. See Gucci, that's my motherfucking nigga. I ain't in the down with them hit squad killers. Walk a flame on the hood ass nigga. Riding real slow in they corners, my nigga. Got a name, bitch, got a mission. A couple of girlfriends, I'm so rich. Keep my dick hard and they keep me smoking. You can get a screenshot and no joking. Hey, what I stand for? Green I'ma die for this shit, man, I swear to God. In the trap with some killers and some hood niggas. Where you at? Where you trap? Where they hood nigga? Keep this shit 300, put that shit in my hood. Chris fucking with me, she in the vice lord. Essays in the Migos freestyle off the wall. Free squad, waka flame is fucking on. I go hard in the motherfucking paint, nigga. You stank it, nigga. What the fuck you thinking, nigga? I don't die for this shit or what the fuck I said. Front yard, broad day with the asphalt. See Gucci, that's my motherfucking nigga. I ain't in the down with them hit squad killers. Walk a flame on the hood ass nigga. Riding real slow in they corners, my nigga. What's up, pussy nigga? What's up, fuck nigga? Like I on that nigga, make your mama's mama miss you. Hope you got your killers with you. Hope you got your niggas with you. Hope your goons riding with you. They gon' fucking miss you, nigga. Nigga, what I had a two like easy Q. When my little brother died, I said, fuck school. I picked the burner up and I got some marijuana. 2 years later, screaming out, you runner. Glock on the SK if you want the beat. Shout at point blank range, I'm put your ass to sleep. Shawty talking shit, so watch what you say. Broad day and I had like this shit legal. I go hard in the motherfucking bank, nigga. Leave you stankin', nigga. What the fuck I thinking, nigga? I don't die for this shit or what the fuck I say. Broad yard, broad day with the S. See Gucci, that's my motherfucking nigga. I hang in the ground with them hit squad killers. Block a flame on the hood ass nigga. Riding real slow in that corner spot, nigga.
Take my consciousness away to escape myself. In this body bound, I'm a prisoner. I can feel the desert when I'm missing there. But it's never out, but it's over now. 2 weeks flies at a time, I'll be open ground. Getting sober now, had a heart attack. I just lost my life, but you brought it back. Random characters select, I had no love. Disconnect the smoke alarm when I show up. Love is a mirage, t-shirt extra large. 2 electric cars came out the garage. But it's over now. Love is a mirage, but it's over now. Yeah, it's over now. Love is a mirage, but it's over now. But it's over now. It's over now. I wanna tell you the truth. I wanna take your youth. I wanna drink from you. Your blood tastes so sweet, like sugar, baby. Like sugar, baby. You see it, sugar, music. It's okay to go away. It might take a lesson, tell me what you want to say. I can take the truth today, so tell me a fairy tale. Heaven said I'm on my way. I don't care what heaven said. I'm waiting for your embrace. You don't want me, do you? You don't want me, do you? No one do to you. You should have
reached Peter Newman at Chrome.
Your blood tastes so sweet, like sugar, like sugar, Sad boys, ecstasy, roll my blunts, get my for free. Got that candy and that ketamine, MDMA and mescaline, yellow powder methamphetamine. Got that opium and that angel dust. All these girls wanna roll with us. Young and straight up penetrating, intoxicated, meditated. I'll take the motherfucking stupefated. Fuck that hoe when it puts her faded. Damn, I'm on this life rushing. I'm tripping off this liquid acid. Blood's passing, I just had it. I just had it, what? I just had it. I'm not human, I'm just me. 3D spaceship, I'm just me. Let me save you, let us be. Shawty, I just wanna come clean. I'm not human, I'm just me. 3D spaceship, I'm just me. Let me save you, let us be. Shawty, I just wanna come clean. Young me, young no fish off. Bitch, my wrist got a fist full. Off dimensions, I got cash in my motherfucking initials. Lead, shut up, bitch, fly. Got bitch, I'm like the shit go. I'll have up the Lamborghini. If you disagree, you can't even see me. ADHD, LSD. All these hoes want my PP in a jar where they can save it. I'll fuck you if you take up a bracelet. And then I'll fuck your face up. I'm drunk so far, trying rich is the little dick chaser. I'm the fucking dictator. Sad boys, ecstasy, roll up blunts, get my free. Got that candy and that ketamine, MDMA and that mescaline, yellow powder methamphetamine. Got that opium and that angel dust. All these girls wanna roll with us. Young and straight up, penetrating, intoxicated, medicated. I think the motherfucker stupefated. Fuck that hoe when a pussy is traded. Damn, I'm on this life version, tripping off this liquid acid. Liquid as it. I'm not human, I'm just me. 3D spaceship, I'm just me. Let me save you, let us be. Shawty, I just wanna come clean. I'm not human, I'm just me. 3D spaceship, I'm just me. Let me save you, let us be. Shawty, I just wanna come clean. Young me, I'll be smoking all crack. GTV assembles drugs on rap. I'll be smoking all crack. GTV assembles drugs on rap. H2O in my soul, emotional tears running down my nose. I go ham at every show. We sell those and we smoke that brown. GTV, no gravity. Wanna be me? Chopper in my Louis backpack. I'm on TV. I'm in a dream. Movie screen. When you close your eyes, I can see. Sat back, text, smoking loud back. Ain't no gravity where I stand. Found like tic-tacs, like tic-tacs. I'll be smoking loud pack, GTV and sample tracks on racks. I'll be smoking loud pack, GTV and sample tracks on racks. Roll up back up on that clean samples, it's a bit weird content. We talking about that I give you a piece, this is no I'm right there.
Hey all, Scott here. Did you know you can make any video game exclusive? See, Scrap for PSP may have also been on the DS, but now it's exclusive.
Team Deathmatch.
Run lower and test it. How do you get people to want your video game content? Blackmail and exclusive games. Johnson exclusive to what makes the world go round. Quick action pathfinding and
Be advised. Cops are in the AO.
Outrider neutralized.
Your call has been forwarded to the...
Hello?
Hey, what's up, Alana? You got a second to talk?
I'm talking with my mom right now. Why?
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to ask you about stuff in Ava, etc. But it's not important. Nothing's urgent.
Oh, just about how she's doing?
Yeah, and like general stuff, yeah.
Yeah, she...
But you can just call me after your mom. It's nothing
Yeah,
like...
can I call you in a bit?
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, speak to you soon.
Tango.
Threat neutralized. Lethal inbound. Fire for a few. Infantry neutralized.
advised. Hostile UAV incoming. Friendly UAV inbound.
Demo splashed. Smoke check.
Friendly care package incoming.
Kill. Overwatch kill.
Hostile hardened sentry in your AO.
You can only find this thing on this hardware. Then on the side, when it's an important element of the industry, and without it, I'd only need one system in the life of my back in the early days of video gaming,
She's gone.
after the time competing something at this job,
Hostile UAV above.
blame them because you know that games consist of basketball, converted Atari, basketball. When Nintendo at the scene with the NES, that really changed the game. It's so lucrative that the game was available on your console was. You not only get games,
Friendly UAV inbound.
that's disgusting.
Battery wasted.
Third-party games.
Battery wasted.
This wasn't just
War machine ready.
also because the third-party
Be advised. Hostile UAV incoming. It's down to this. Pick it up. Friendly UAV inbound.
It's everywhere.
UAV inbound. Care package inbound. You made the entire CDP proud.
What? It's over? Already?
Outrider neutralized.
Float like a butterfly, punch like a freaking jackhammer. Enough talk. Let's get downrange.
Listen up, fresh meat. My place, my rules. You got crypto, I...
Have been for a while. Developers no longer see Nintendo consoles as the only place to put their games, or if they make games for multiple platforms, they just have to get it running on Nintendo as well. Their systems have always had setbacks ever since the Nintendo 64. Of course, that made it difficult to bring multi-platform games over, but narrowing down the amount of games on here, which in tandem makes the console less appealing, so it increases the need for exclusive games, bringing that appeal right back up. If Nintendo was a person, they wouldn't live past noon. The Nintendo 64's cartridges couldn't hold as much as the competition. The GameCube mini discs, same story. The Wii was underpowered. The Nintendo Switch is underpowered. The Wii U was malnourished. Most of the time, I'm sure developers would love to bring their games over, but it's not as easy as you think. It's not like the only reason they don't is because the development kits smell bad. Jesus. But because of this, Nintendo relies on exclusive games more than any other company, creating their own with some third-party studios supporting them as well. And because of that, many multi-platform games historically didn't sell on Nintendo's platforms because they relied so much on exclusives. That was the reason most people bought their consoles. Who in their right mind bought Injustice on Wii U? I said it down. I think being exclusive to a Nintendo platform gives off this vibe that all these exclusives are all part of the same family. A foster one. There's a certain feel to a Nintendo console, one that makes any game exclusive free on anything else. Ew. I think Nintendo's exclusive games are some of the most powerful out there. Even if their platforms are severely underpowered compared to the competition, many times they still succeed of Nintendo games. It doesn't matter if this console's garbage. It has Zelda, it has Mario, it has the games that you can find alternatives to on other consoles, but it's never the same. Even with all the car races available elsewhere, they're not Mario Kart, and customers know that. A game that's just like Mario Kart, but on PlayStation. That can only get games so far, because it's obvious the person saying that will drop it in a heartbeat to play Mario Kart. Why doesn't Nintendo go third party and release their games on other platforms? Because of that! If people are willing to buy your hardware just for your games, most of the time just one game or one franchise, you'd be stupid to drop that old shtick. That's so much more money coming in. Nintendo really values their exclusives. It started the whole only war iconography on the Super Nintendo. Up that this is the only place that you can play Uniracers. Come on, what else were you, little bitch? Games exclusive to Nintendo platforms often have that colorful, family-friendly feel. Many
times whimsical and focused on level-to-level gameplay compared to cutscene-centric stories, which is why games like Sonic, Pokeball, Bomberman, Rayman, they all feel at home on Nintendo platforms. But in tandem, many series that have been around for ages, legacy franchises that got their start on Nintendo, they were around during the NES days. Series like Dragon Quest, Castlevania, Final Fantasy, Contra, Tetris, Street Fighter, these games feel very at home on Nintendo as well. In some cases, have multiple exclusive games on Nintendo, and it goes for all platforms. If a series starts out somewhere and has roots surrounding this console, the chances are it's going to stay until Child Protective Services comes by. You say when your child is taken away. Nintendo's exclusives mean a lot to them, which made it pretty brutal when they all went away. So that just meant they tried that much harder to get third parties to make exclusive games on their platform. Nintendo had to publish games that they usually couldn't publish. Games like Eternal Darkness and Geist on the GameCube were M-rated. And then you also had third-party exclusives like Resident Evil 4 and Vita Pro that were exclusive to GameCube, at least for a little bit. Nowadays, Nintendo gets all kinds of exclusives, so they still feel most at home when they're max PG-13. That doesn't mean M-rated games aren't ever exclusive to Nintendo platforms, just not nearly as much as the other guys. But Nintendo publishes a lot of games, a huge variety to make them exclusive on their platforms. Games like DC Superhero Girls Teen Power, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 The Black Order, and Mario Bear Get It Together. What the fuck is this? Some companies have a pretty good idea these days of what works on Nintendo as an exclusive and what doesn't. So, if it fits the bill, it might just make the cut. Which made PlayStation hitting the scene that much more brutal. PlayStation became the foster home for many series that initially started out on Nintendo once the Nintendo 64 featured 4 living conditions. You live like this? When games that were always thought to be Nintendo games jumped ship over to PlayStation, I think that made everybody realize how much it's a good idea to butter up third parties. Hell, Sony even published Final Fantasy VII outside of Japan. This wasn't just about who made the best games, it was about who pouted the most to third parties. Sony entered a deal with Squaresoft to make the Final Fantasy series exclusive to PlayStation system for a while there. Did this benefit the consumers? Well, it was a great way to measure crotches. I have a PlayStation 2. I can play Final Fantasy X! Keep it up. Well, Sony funded a lot of their own exclusives by their own studios for PlayStation 1 and 2. Many developers and publishers came crawling to them because the other systems just didn't make sense. Thus, series like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Mega Man, Contra, Castlevania, these found a new home on PlayStation. With a good chunk of Nintendo's exclusives, as large as possible, pumped out their own lineup of games in addition to the Nintendo refugees. PlayStation exclusives on the PS1 and 2 were kind of funky. They were all over the place, which was a good thing. All types of releases for all different types of people. That was just boiled down to platformers and adventure games, and the other genres were exclusive to Japan at the time, or handled by the third-party companies that jumped ship. Sony was funding and publishing platformers, car racers, simulation racers, role-playing games, fighting games, hardcore sports titles, wacky sports titles, party games, music games. It gave the original PlayStation such a varied exclusive library. This variety, though, made any game feel like it could be a PlayStation exclusive, while on Nintendo, it felt more like when a game was exclusive, it was welcomed into the family. A Nintendo fan is more likely to play nearly everything Nintendo publishes, while PlayStation fans have standards. I mean, these are all PlayStation IPs. There's nothing wrong with that, it's just a different feeling from Nintendo's approach. But by the time we reached the PlayStation 4 era, PlayStation exclusives finally had that distinct feel that makes an only for PlayStation game stick out. Hope you like the back and necks. Something changed with the PS4 because Sony's exclusives all felt like variations of The Last of Us. This was a huge critical and commercial success, so I'm sure they looked at the cinematic game with engaging gameplay on top of a quick dramatic story and said, that's our version of the Nintendo 2D platform. Days gone with Sony's Ziplash. Sony will publish games that were all over the place in terms of style, genre, age rating. They weren't like Nintendo in the sense of a lot of synergy between games, but there was still a little bit, enough to make the game like a PlayStation game. Not a ton though. I think Sony had more variety though. That variety meant that a lot of PlayStation fans cared about everything exclusive to the PlayStation brand. Titles that they
Overdrive ready.
And mainly just focus on games that are problem? Xbox. Because they have a whole slew of what kind of deal does an Xbox exclusive have? Which is why this makes sense. Xbox was a bit similar to Sony in their early days, going for as large a variety as possible with their exclusives. But unfortunately, just sort of one or two offs. Much of an impression. The only one that really stuck was Halo, the system. This is why the Xbox is still here today. Quality exclusives weren't anything to write home about. So Microsoft acted accordingly and just said, I don't care anymore. We're rich. Buying rare. They're excellent Nintendo exclusives. This was a bold move. This showed how everything
Be advised.
can just
Hostile
be
care
bought.
package
Like, well,
overhead.
somebody
Hostile
else
UAV
not really Nintendo, Sony, Sega, to some extent.
Mission failed. New assignments incoming.
Awaiting cash evac from CCP.
Mess with the best, die like the rest.
Here's more Forza. Xbox exclusives have no rhyme or reason to them. Microsoft just buys out studios or games with exclusivity deals, which sometimes buying exclusives is okay because sometimes the developer or publisher needs money, but a lot of the times they don't. Like BioShock was exclusive to the Xbox 360 for a bit. Microsoft is trying to get an exclusive that just Gears of War, Halo, and Forza. But the lack of synergy between any of their exclusives does not help. When I said most PlayStation fans don't play all the exclusives on the console, that is 10 times more true about Xbox fans. Microsoft always brags about how this is the biggest exclusive lineup of games we've ever had. Yeah, because have you seen your lineup before? The thing is, they aren't counting true exclusives here, because what happens when you don't have enough good exclusives to combat PlayStation and Nintendo? That's cheating! Something I see more and more is manufacturers just buying exclusivity rights to a third-party game. A third-party game that would most normally be on every platform, which is just pride in this. It's not like, damn, it's good to be a PlayStation fan because I can play Final Fantasy VII Remake dozens of months before everybody else. Wow, you worked so hard owning a console where the company just paid to have this exclusive for a few months. Wow.
Battery
Sony's
reporting
been
for
doing
duty.
this a lot with the PlayStation 5 games like Final Fantasy 16, Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo. Like, come on, these did not have to be exclusive to the PlayStation 5. I don't even think most people look at these as PlayStation 5 exclusive games because they're so ingrained into my mind as Square Enix and Bethesda titles. And on top of that, it's not like these games wouldn't have been made if they weren't paid by Sony. The games like Bayonetta 2 and 3 are exclusive to Nintendo platforms, and that's because without Nintendo, nobody would even think about combining Bayonetta and others. Street Fighter V was exclusive to PS4 and PC because without Sony helping to fund the game, there wouldn't have been a Street Fighter V, at least at the time that it came out. So that makes sense. Rise of the Tomb Raider on Xbox One doesn't. Microsoft even started advertising Lara Croft as one of the faces of Xbox for a second there, right next to Forza car. Holy shit, it's the car from Forza! These exclusives weren't earned, they were paid for, which is mostly just a waste of money in my opinion. These games would have come out on multiple platforms, mind you, but Sony and Microsoft just buy the rights to them to say they wanted to bring this game to their consoles players because they deserve the best. They would have gotten them anyway, you jerks! All that happens is these games come to other platforms eventually anyway, so like, was it really worth it? Guess what? Because I bought Deathloop on PlayStation 5. Damn it. Timed exclusives are garbage. It's like, who wins here? You get satisfaction knowing only your kind can play Dead Rising 4 for a year until it comes to PlayStation 4? Everybody give a round of applause for these people. They own an Xbox. Xbox does a lot of these timed exclusives.
You're clear to engage.
The games coming to PC day and night with the Xbox release. And it's something you notice across the whole industry. A shift towards embracing the PC as not a competitor, I said people. PCs are never going to overtake consoles because, man, the heck the population doesn't even know how to operate a printer. You'd think they want to use this to play FIFA, so why not just
Friendly
release your games on
UAV
PC as
inbound.
well? Xbox spearheaded this change. Releasing some of their games that have already done their business on PlayStation on PC. Not only is it incredibly odd to see a PlayStation franchise like Uncharted or God of War with Microsoft Windows listed as one of their platforms, but it's even stranger to see the Microsoft logo on a PlayStation game and vice versa. Microsoft started publishing a select few of their games they own on competing platforms, most notably Minecraft, and Sony owns developer who makes MLB The Show, which finally came to Xbox in 2021.
Demo asset destroyed.
It's honestly serious to be exclusive to a console. You're telling me the Major League Baseball equivalent to Madden and FIFA was only available on PlayStation? That's not fair! PlayStation Note Studio was still developing the game. MLB The Show 21 released on Xbox consoles. You kill it! Exclusive for
UAV
some
inbound.
less lucrative and more
Demo
PC but competing consoles. Though on the other, why do you think their console like a dragon and not be on PlayStation 5 for 4 months? That's just petty. Yeah, a lot of console exclusives feel more like dumb ways to
UAV
make
inbound.
Like, is there any real reason for this to be exclusive? That's how giving me a reason to scream at Xbox owners. There's still competition in the air, and it's called exclusive content. If you play Avengers on PlayStation, you get Spider-Man. It's on its own like console exclusive
Friendly
content.
care package incoming.
Relevant and unbelievably unfair. Like, you're keeping one of the most popular superhero groups of all time exclusive to certain content. That ensures that character won't be nearly as fleshed out as I don't like this. A lot of games on PlayStation an hour of exclusive content. I wonder if anybody even knows what this content is half the time. Like, really? An extra hour of content? I had fun for an hour longer than you. Take that, Xbox. What about
Be advised, hostile UAV incoming.
for a limited time? Exclusive DLC. So, but first off, hasn't made the right choice of which console to buy. I'm bored to buy something that other players aren't. Games get bad with this kind of stuff. Locking characters again different consoles, whether it's time DLC. Just flat out, you can only play this character on this console. Sometimes it's gonna be kind of cool. Got an exclusive character, but you can never fit Link from the game.
HCXD deployed.
For PS2, which what fighting games are all about. Different matchups. Probably it's both really cool to get characters to get each separate platform. It really did take advantage of the fact that this game was a multi-platform game. And then Sony bought the exclusive rights to Soul Calibur 3, and that just threw that idea. Sometimes
ready to assault.
Sony, what is your problem? That was amazing. But these things, one version of the game is worthless. But this is what the exciting. This just wow. Mario and
Enemy FO down.
Hostile UAV above.
Said, I know what version I'm gonna get. Sorry. I mean, these things are pretty bare minimum. All the items, Skyrim on Switch, costumes, Bomberman R.
Enemy UAV has been hacked.
Shovel Knight on Xbox and PlayStation. They're so cool. God damn it. The more I look at those exclusivity rights to certain games, the more it bugs me. Like Call of Duty. In this platform, yet Microsoft hasn't advertised whenever they took over Xbox. And then Sony took that over a few years later. It's like, what's the point? That money could go into making your own amazing exclusive or working with a third party and something made that you really wanted to make. Instead, that trademark Nintendo corner or Xbox stamp or PlayStation font means
Friendly UAV inbound.
Monster Hunter Rise is awesome on Nintendo Switch, but it's being an extensive PS4 Xbox One. I think exclusivity makes sense in various contexts, as sometimes some games only really work on one piece of hardware, like a certain controller or accessory or the amount of power necessary. Maybe you want to make a smaller game, and handheld makes more sense. Maybe that's all you can afford. Right now, the developers
Hostile UAV spotted.
could be spending time actually developing amazing exclusive games, but no, let's pay Ubisoft to spin in our game.
opting for a ton of smaller tweaks and additions, which can make it a bit more confusing when trying to identify exactly what it is you're getting with this upgrade. But don't worry, we have you covered. We've combed through as much as we could and picked out what we think are the 13 biggest additions and changes to Death Stranding directly. Before we get into the bigger things, let's go through some of the graphical updates. The game now features 2 graphic options. A quality mode that runs at a native 4K resolution and targets 60 frames per second, or a performance mode that features a scaled 4K resolution with a more stable frame rate, though it's still not long at 60 FPS. I want to note that I mostly played on quality mode, and I've yet to really see the review. Also, both of these modes can be played in an ultra widescreen mode, which is more of an ultra widescreen simulator mode, as it is better widescreen gameplay on your system. Sam's favorite drink, Monster Energy, seems to be no more. Monster Energy could survive the apocalypse of Death Stranding, but it couldn't survive Monster. We assume this is the result of some sort of simple licensing deal expiring, but regardless, all mention of Monster Energy and are now replaced with a more ongoing Bridges. You can tap a PlayStation 5 game without really good dual system. Like Death Stranding directors selecting. First off, the attack with triggers work exactly how you expect. Weapons on fire with different sensations, and the heavier Sam's cargo load is, the harder it is to pull the trigger. When running on different terrain, the controller vibrates to have feedback response occur. For example, running on smooth concrete will feel a little different than sloshing around over snow. Combat has also seen a bit of an improvement. You can now equip gloves to pummel your. Also, because it's electric, the first is the unfortunate round skip hot, and it's good on weather, leaving you way less likely to be stranded without power. A firing range has been added to the terminals, allowing you to check out all the weapons in the game and even test your skill with them. All of the weapons are on the table, and you can equip them. It has always had an emphasis on customization, so it only makes sense that we've gotten even more control to make Sam look exactly how we want. We can change BB's color scheme. Your suit now has an array of colors to choose from. Best.
Hello there, Adam from GottaSkeet.com here. You're currently looking at Death Stranding on PlayStation 4. And the reason for that is that we're going to show you how to do the transfer save. If you've played it before and you want to get playing with the director's cut, it's well worth it if you really love this game. The frame rate's massively improved. It's pretty simple, but also not actually that obvious because you think you'd be able to do it from the next minute. We can load the PS4 version of the game and go to the delivery terminal. You don't actually use the delivery terminal, you just have to be near it because you can set the game or do stuff at that terminal. Bring up your main menu of the start button on the board, watch the menu on the left, big board. And then you go left on the D-pad, you go export, save data. All about what's going to happen and what's going to move over. Even though the save file can be quite big, it's not actually going to take that long. We'll show you in real time. Click OK, and it's done. There you go. So then, all you really need to do is, load the PS5 version of the game. So why not just do that now so you can see how quickly this game launches? And while we're waiting, why don't you tell us if you're looking forward to this?
The ever-evolving situation with Cyberpunk 2077 somehow just got even more confusing. Not too long ago, we heard how the next-gen version of Cyberpunk and The Witcher 3 were getting delayed into 2022, but now CDPR also just quietly revealed that there is just no more content coming to Cyberpunk in 2021 at all. No more updates, no more free DLCs, and probably we just won't hear much of anything until the end of this year when they have an earnings call. Otherwise, probably nothing till next year. And all this kind of revealed without any real explanation, but even further, at the same time, they've just also got news that they're working on another Cyberpunk game, which makes the entire situation all the more confusing. So in this video, I want to break down what's going on here, all the various things that happened in 2021, because it seems like we kind of got everything already. But before we fully jump into that, I want to tell you about today's video sponsor, Asphalt 9 Legends. This is a completely free to download arcade racing game, and side, this also does have a full-fledged multiplayer mode for the seasons to play against others or even your friends if you want things to get truly heated. And along the way, actually collect and customize, including upgrade a ton of different vehicles, including some pretty epic ones. And if you are playing on Xbox, you get some cool benefits like 4K and 120 FPS on Xbox Series X, and even cross-save for both PC and Xbox with Xbox Play Anywhere. Or if you don't have any of those things, you can always use Ultra Mobile. So with that said, use my link in the description. You get Asphalt 9 totally for free right now. But okay, looking first at this situation with no more updates coming to Cyberpunk in 2021, it's a super bizarre one. It's basically what happened was late on October 28th, which depending on where you were was late on Thursday night, CD Projekt Red quietly updated their Our Commitment to Quality website. That being the one that released in January of this year when the controversies were at their peak, only a month or so after Cyberpunk did release in general. And the change made to the website was they actually updated this roadmap. If you could really call it a roadmap, it was always super vague, but what it used to look like was this, and then it was updated to look like this, which basically confirmed that the last update we got for Cyberpunk, that being patch 1.31, would seemingly mark the end of the patches for 2021. All of the future fixes, free DLCs, etc. would be in 2022. This is perplexing for a number of reasons, and just right off the bat, it was the communication, and really there just wasn't any communication. I was really ready to actually post this video yesterday, but I was just waiting in case they somehow had a late Friday night press release or something explaining what was going on, especially as the story started to gain a bit more traction, but no, they just did this, which, okay, that's one approach you definitely could take. But the other half of this that is really confusing is the timeline of patches now. The last major patch, and I would really say the last real substantial update to Cyberpunk was in the middle of August. The last update we got in general was a month and a half ago, but that update a month and a half ago was bare bones. Really did not contain a lot of fixes, and in fact, a significant portion of the fixes were rectifying issues that were brought about by the 1.3 update. So it was basically undoing newly added bugs. And with this new hypothetical timeline, that'll mean that from the middle of August to next month, we get a substantial update potentially for Cyberpunk. Will probably be the middle of January at earliest. This is assuming they do celebrate the holidays and then have to actually go back to the office, so there's going to be a little bit of downtime around the holiday season with New Year's. I just put that to perspective, that would mean there's about a 5-month gap in between major patches, which seems massive, and that's the best case scenario. That's assuming right at the start of the new year they actually do have something to deliver, which hopefully that's the case, but that's wild. That would mean that Cyberpunk would be 13 months old at that point, and for the last 5 months hadn't actually gotten any kind of updates. In the past, we're talking about progress of Cyberpunk 2077 being slow. I had a CDPR employee reach out to me and say, one of the reasons things really started to slow down was crunching stopped. They were working more reasonable hours, and that's why these updates did start to slow down. But obviously, this marks a significant transition, and the updates being significantly slower with a gap this size, this close to the initial release. It's not like this is a 3-year-old game now. But unless they're having some other internal difficulties, like they got hacked again or something happened internally, the only way I can see this making sense is if they're really trying to hold out for...
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
Hi. I'm back home. I'm ready to jump in the shower. So what's up?
Am I on speakerphone?
Yes, mom's here.
Usually, don't you tell someone that?
Yeah. You're on speakerphone address, okay?
Okay.
I'm standing here with mom. She's at her desk doing work. You want me to take her off speakerphone?
What? Well, I thought I was just gonna call you. Never mind.
Okay, I'll take it off speakerphone. Off speakerphone. So what's up?
I don't know. I'm just. What are you doing?
We're going to. Mom's doing work. I'm going to have some breakfast. Mom and I have a bunch of errands to run. We have to go to FedEx, return some stuff, ship some stuff. We're going to go to Home Goods. And then she's got to clean her closet. So we were going to play some pickleball maybe at 2 or 3 o'clock. And I have to work on the BMW. I have to get the back seat out of the BMW because we locked the trunk by mistake. And probably getting Christmas. Mom wants to get a Christmas tree later.
Yeah. So I guess I'm speaking to the woman on whenever I'll confirm on Monday. But I think I also need someone else, like I don't know, like a life coach or something in between. Like also because she definitely can't do twice a week or whatever.
You mean the therapist?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you had a session with her yet?
No.
Okay. But you know that she can't do twice a week.
Yeah.
That's what Jennifer told us. All right, we'll see what other services do they have. I think a life coach is a great idea. Do they have that there?
Well, from there, I was wondering if we could even use Pam or whatever to do the eating thing.
You mean you want to get an appointment with Pam's doctor or the
Yeah.
food?
Just like something in conjunction, because like speaking to just up one person individually a week, just right now, I just need to like some stuff to address, and I'm just not. Just.
Well, if you want to make an appointment with the doctor, the food person to have one session, then that's fine with me. Call her up and try to make that appointment.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what there is for me to do. I guess I'll see on whenever Monday.
No, I think it's a good idea. So sure, pursue it. You know where she is, so yeah. And life coach, I don't know. I've gone through a bunch. I mean, I think it's a good idea. That's a great thing, and maybe Jennifer has some recommendations.
Yeah, just the group like is good, but what I really liked at like for example like Anxiety Institute is they did like these exposure therapies that I found very helpful. This is more just like DBT and talking or whatever.
Right. Okay, well, maybe they have some recommendations. You had been at, what was it, Causeway Collaborative had that, but, that's where you had some of that, if you recall.
You're the only person who provides it in these.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know that landscape.
I guess maybe I'll wait for like Monday or meeting.
Ask Jennifer her if she has some recommendations.
Yeah, but I shouldn't call her now, right?
You can call now and leave a message, sure. Why not?
Okay.
I mean, these people are, if they can't, there's nothing wrong with calling and leaving a message. Say, I know it's the weekend, I don't expect to get back to me, but just wanted to plant the seed. And that's the kind of message I would leave. So that way, she probably retrieves your message and maybe gets a head start.
Yeah. Yep. It's such a pain talking to me. I know it's terrible.
I didn't say that. I'm just talking with you, Jason.
And what about like family therapy?
Family therapy? I think that's a good idea.
No, you don't.
Actually, Mom and I were talking about that yesterday. So we do think it's a good idea. And I was actually going to call to think about how to approach that. I think it's important.
Yeah.
Because we're at a pretty low point at this time, so.
Yeah. You're gonna. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't want to get into like whatever, but I'll just keep it calm. But I don't know. I just feel like you guys are either in like one stance of being way too hands on, or then way too hands off, like the happy medium. And what's it called? I know I'm not, of course, like a perfect person or not even close or anything, but I just feel like there's no compromise.
Well, I would agree. I think the highs and lows are too extreme for all of us. So I would agree with you on that.
On that weird sub point that I didn't even make that you just interpreted it as one, that would be the only thing you agreed with me on.
Sorry?
Like a sub point that you interpreted that I didn't even explicitly say. That's.
Oh, I'm just expressing my view, my thought. At that moment when you brought it up, I just expressed a point of thought.
Yeah, no, these are just because I'm angry.
Analysis on what you had said, Andres. I think
the analysis was that that's what you took from it.
Hands on, and I said I think that highs and lows are not great. So I agree. I just put my own little spin on it. Doesn't matter.
No, well, in the yeah, okay. But when I say yeah, I'm not getting angry.
I agree with you. I think family therapy is a good idea.
And yeah, and also when I say you guys do their two hands off, two hands, I'm not saying that as in the fact that one's good and one's bad or whatever. I'm saying they're both bad. The good is like the middle, like the not smothering me but not letting me free fall, which I don't. You guys have kind of done it, but I feel like in the past, like throughout my history, it's been either one extreme of coddling or whatever, or then just letting go. And I just really wish you could like go in the middle.
Good idea to talk about that.
Yeah.
Family therapist. That's a very good point.
So I didn't get to see any. I literally did jack shit for Thanksgiving.
Well, we did. Well, we had the lunch together. That's all we did, Andreas. Yesterday, I sent you a text early in the day, but then it turned out that Michelle said no one can come if they don't have to be vaccinated.
That's ridiculous.
Well, it's their prerogative. They're two, Hallie and Sarah are pregnant, and that was their wish. It's not related to you, it's related to anything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's whatever. I'm not going to tell person, but that's weird. So I'm assuming they got vaccinated.
I don't know, Andres. I didn't ask them. I really didn't go into details of. I would assume they were vaccinated, but it's not my place to ask.
Yeah, it's just weird.
We were said that please, no one who's not vaccinated. And Michelle said, "Was Sebastian vaccinated?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay."
What about the booster?
He did the booster. He did the strip, and there was no COVID.
No, I'm saying what about the booster shot?
Oh, the booster. Oh, Mom and I are going to get the booster. We haven't figured out, but we are going to get the booster.
And Sebastian and everyone has to change the rules.
I'm not sure if Sebastian gets the booster. I have to look into it. I know that we certainly will. I'll look into whether we should too, of course.
I don't think he should, but if you're saying if what the statistics have shown is if waning after 4 months, he would be in that category.
I think the boosters, they started at the older age because of availability, but now it's widely available and they've done more studies and everyone's getting it. So, and anyway, I'm not the spring chicken anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, but I haven't seen the statistics. I haven't really read much about it.
Yeah, because the media tries to hide it, of course.
Well, I just, when I did look yesterday at some of the stuff, I just looked at COVID about the CDC.
No, literally the second, I mean, I'm a little bit worried about the variables, but the second I got COVID and it, was literally, the worst part was a little bit like 90, feeling 90% or whatever. Now, I'm very, I don't really care.
I know, but it's, okay, that's good.
Because,
it's also about giving it to other people, right? It's not like, I don't want to
vaccinated people can give it to other people, and actually, there's a study that shows since you're vaccinated, you're more likely to do more risky behaviors, etc., and you're more likely to be quote unquote infected and cross spreading it, doing a super spread without realizing it. But yeah, you've seen did you see on The View when half the View had they were all vaccinated, but then they all tested positive for COVID? It was, I think there's 5 women on The View, and then they were about to do something, and they were like, oh, please come out, and it was literally, that's in 66% of the whatever, the cast. I mean, that's weird. This is not a traditional, this isn't even an immunization or whatever. Most vaccines or immunizations or whatever, this isn't even one. It's very weird.
Well, they're learning new things about it every day.
It's like if everyone would mandate I feel like this is the flu, but it's literally going to become the flu. It's endemic or whatever. There's going to be a new strain every single year, just like the flu or whatever. Except literally, I don't think anyone demands anyone to get the flu shot. I think if anyone demands COVID, they should be, like, if they're following the logic, like, I'm like, fine. Like, you can just follow it all the way through, though. Because people should be, because the flu is so more like the flu, like I'm even like concerned about the flu. I'm probably not gonna get the vaccine. Do you know what I'm saying though?
Yeah. Okay, so regardless, so that's our plans for today. I think it's a good idea. You should call Jennifer, see if she has ideas on, you know, life coach idea, and if you want to make an appointment for food part of it. Did Jennifer address it all? Does Elevate address food issues?
I'm not sure. That's why I figured I might wait till Monday to see what my therapist thinks she's capable of doing.
Okay. All right. You saw your appointment's on Monday?
I don't know. I believe so. Well, I'm gonna confirm. I know I have IOP Monday there regardless. So.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you could call. Yeah. Anyway, just call, leave a message.
I'm just feeling so whatever, and I've been a little bit in this pit, and then just when that winter colder weather hit, it's just not been a good combination.
Right.
Like the only time that recently, like I was like, oh, kind of is like decent was actually this morning when I was up at like 6 o'clock. I was like, oh, just seeing the dawn, and like that was like, oh, it's kind of nice. That lasts for like a couple hours, and then it's gone.
Yeah, I thought I'd see you at the gym. It was nice there. You can still go there now. You can just walk over.
Yeah, could we maybe do some stock stuff?
What's that?
Some stock stuff, or you teach me, show me some stuff.
I can show you stock stuff, sure. Yeah, I've offered many times. I'm happy to show you stock stuff. I'm into doing a bunch of stuff with others. Full agenda, but, yeah.
What is the full agenda?
I told you, Andreas. We're gonna.
Okay, I'm just asking for like roughly, or like.
Mom is doing her closet. We're gonna go to Home Goods. We have to go to FedEx, and I have to work on the BMW. And then we were gonna look at, I guess later Christmas tree.
You can get a small one because I won't be there.
What's that?
You can get a small one because I won't be there. You don't need to get a 6'3" tree.
So because you won't be there? What is that?
Yeah.
I understand that.
Never mind.
Do you mean a small one for your room?
No.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh my gosh. Whatever.
Monday starts Hanukkah, although I think we're going to do Hanukkah light this year. So I'm ready.
Hanukkah what? Hanukkah lights? Like lighting the candles?
Actually, Michelle has a Hanukkah gift for you.
What is it?
She gave us all. Well, you'll see when you get there. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm getting a little stir crazy. Might do something I regret.
Why don't you get in? Well, go get in the car and go to Chelsea Pier workout. Go to the coffee shop there. They have a nice little place. You know, it gets the blood flowing. Might be a good start to the day.
All right. What else?
I don't know what else.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to be running errands, so.
Okay, so roughly till when?
I don't know. I don't even know what time it is now.
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. So. I don't know. Maybe till 3. I really don't know. We actually have a pickleball reservation at 2 o'clock. I forgot about that. But it's a little windy for that. I don't know if we can do that.
Okay. Alright.
Maybe go to the gym, make those calls, and if you want, I think it's a good idea. Try to get an appointment with that doctor if you want. And,
What happened to that one person we did family therapy with? I kind of I'm biased, obviously, but I think I liked her or whatever.
I don't remember. You mean from Contemporary Care?
Oh, maybe it might have been. Was that the last time I did it with someone was with Contemporary Care?
Yeah.
I wonder if I could have the. Well, I might if they don't do any like family therapy training, and I don't what's it called? Don't go to Florida or whatever, and I stay here. What's it called? I might want to talk to Contemporary Care.
Well, right now you're in this.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow my brains out if I'm here.
I don't understand why.
What?
Why don't you just see the get to know the services?
Yeah. I'm. All I just know is the IOP. It's for mostly substances, which obviously I have a problem with, but that's not the main issue. And what's it called? And yeah, I just need just extra like structure, but because the IOP is good or whatever. But yeah, again, I guess I'll find out on.
Yeah, just see what they have, because running from one place to another, you know, maybe this sounds like Elevate has some. So I haven't looked at the extensive service.
Does Pam do family therapy, or did anything with that?
What's that?
Did Pam do family therapy with, or anything, or does she?
Do family therapy with Pam.
Does she do it? Do you remember? Or?
She does family therapy. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't.
Yeah, because I feel like maybe I don't hear certain things.
Over to someone who does family therapy, so I'm assuming she doesn't do family therapy.
Who did she hand this over to?
Ellen Casale, who does family therapy. I'm assuming that.
What? And what happened to Ellen? Whatever.
Oh, sorry. You know, I'm wrong. Excuse me. I'm wrong. That's right. I'm getting it confused. Right. Contemporary Care gave us Ellen Casale. You're right. My apologies.
Wait, is she a private practicer? I'm assuming.
What is this?
I'm assuming it sounds like she's a private practice.
Hold on 1 second, please. No, I know. What did you say, Andreas?
I'm assuming it's a private practice then, if they referred us.
No, Mom was right and I was wrong. So Ellen Casale was at Contemporary Care.
Oh, it wasn't like someone else that like out of.
No, she was at Contemporary Care.
Okay.
Part of Contemporary Care. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the one who said, you know, you gotta get this, you know, you remember the messaging, which was...
No, that was the one where I cried because I didn't even think about this or said it or whatever. But she said your parents are expecting you to run when you can't even walk or something. I literally broke down in tears. Yep. It's really yup for me. Like it's my life that's being toyed with.
Yes, going on my day.
Alright, I'll contact you in a little bit.
Yeah, the things that you mentioned, and you know, and maybe try to get, you know, well, it's up to you, you know, but maybe go to the gym. That might be a good start. You know.
Yeah, it's a start. It's a start, and then you need to continue.
Food, I think that would be part of an executive, you know, part of like life coaching. They're going to tell you they're going to tell you to try to go to the gym.
Yeah, and that's...
Try to do this stuff. We don't have to pay someone to tell you what you know.
No, yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a message. The thing is right down the block. That would be a great start. I mean, you know that's what they're going to tell you.
Yeah, maybe.
You know? I mean, that would
be but you're hyper... I've never... That's probably what I'm going to do, but you're hyper fixating on this. I'm just saying, oh yeah, maybe that's going to be good for like an hour or two, but then...
Look, you've been through this life coaching. I've never been through it.
I have not really actually.
They would have said something like that, because we went through some of the intakes. But I'm sure you have an intimate knowledge of what they suggest you do.
And maybe I need to get my food things straightened out before I see like any physical trainer person.
Try to think back to what they mentioned.
Oh my god.
Spend time with you at Causeway. Seriously, think back a little bit about what they were talking at Causeway Collaborative, and see if you can just remember some of those tips and ideas.
Yeah.
And,
You don't understand. You don't understand. It's okay. You just don't realize how lucky you are to never have struggled through any of this stuff.
I understand that, so I don't know. Okay, I mean, I hear you, but
I mean, yes, there's some stuff that people are just da 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 da, and it's like, and you can derive obviously, like you've heard like 7 accountants who like know some stuff about accounting da da da, but then like me, I have an acute thing, like the eating thing's a big part of it, and that you can't just be like, oh Andreas, like it's not as simple as why don't you just eat some food or something,
okay,
you know?
I thought this morning when you said, "Are you going to the gym?" Let me know, and I might catch up with you. So that was something maybe that could have maybe gotten over some anxiety to go to the gym. I was there.
Yeah, I've been sleeping. I've been having really low energy.
Walk you to the gym. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I know that. I don't expect anyone to.
Look, whatever. I think you have some good ideas. So.
Well, it seems like I'm the only. I mean.
I don't know what to say.
It seems like you've jumped.
I don't know what to do, Andreas, right now. I mean, I don't know what I can do at this very moment. I mean, we're sharing some thoughts. I agree with you.
I just want to get out of this, and I just don't want to. I mean, like, dwell on this in the future as to how I was, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're saying.
I'm just a person that's very absorbing and whatever, and that's my whole issue is that I just remember, like, traumas and things and, like, negative things too well.
Right.
So I just hopefully this goes, we can be operable soon before, because, yeah, you're not, like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good goal.
I'm not, yeah, you and Sabine, I'm not seeing in the best light.
I think that's good. It's great. You're trying to do the right thing. I think that's great.
How's Sebastian doing? How are my clothes?
Yes, please.
I just asked how Sebastian's doing.
Oh, I thought you said how's Sebastian doing on my clothes.
No, I said how's Sebastian doing. I said how about how about my clothes, but I said that after the fact.
How's Sebastian doing on my clothes?
No,
okay,
what?
So I don't know the answer to that.
I just asked you. I just said how is he doing?
How's he doing? He's doing good. He's sleeping. I'm gonna wake him up.
Okay. I just yeah. Just going. I don't know.
If I were you, I'd get dressed, go. It doesn't matter. What I would.
This is like the same thing when I was withdrawing off meds with Pam, when she would like end the phone call or whatever. Da, da, da. She didn't understand that the second like and this is with me like yeah for a couple of hours.
I don't know what can I do? I mean, how long can I be on a phone call? I can't solve the issues. You're getting help, which is good.
Yeah, you can, but
you have good ideas on what you need to do. I think it's great.
Okay, all right. I'll keep in contact. I'll see you later.
I suggest that you get up, go, maybe just.
Yeah, now you said that for the 10th fucking time. I'm not opposed to it. Okay, so that would help me out. So now instead of like, because I think sometimes I think you just choose to push weird things. You could like, I think since you kept going back to circling around to the gym thing, because you didn't know what else to say or whatever. So that.
I don't know. Okay. Look, you're calling me for solution? I don't know a solution. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have all the solutions for right now. I don't know what. I don't know what to tell you. I'm telling you what I did this morning, what I'm doing now.
All right.
What I plan to do in the next
all right.
hour.
Let me
what
just.
Else do you want me to do?
All right.
What am I supposed to do?
Now you're twisting this against me, which I really don't appreciate. All right. I don't even see you in person. Whatever. All right. I'll just keep me updated. It was a great conversation, great time. Thanksgiving yesterday. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, alright.
Alright, bye-bye.
They re-released, more or less. They said the next-gen update's coming at some point in Q1, so maybe that comes with a giant patch and finally justification to return, and it really adds in a ton of stuff. But even just if you look at some of their quotes over the past few months, it does seem like we're about to be getting to that point where they were going to start improving some of those existing systems. They kept saying how the first focus was on fixing bugs, and they were making progress on that. It really seemed like we're kind of crossing the hill where then it would start improving things like potentially the police AI or other aspects of the game itself, not just fixing bugs. Time will tell. I mean, technically we could all just be misinterpreting this. We haven't really gotten official clarification from CDPR as far as I can tell. But yeah, and what is genuinely probably the most confusing update around this game thus far, we're not getting any more content for the rest of this year. None of those free DLCs, none of the updates, it's all coming in 2022. And obviously this makes me think that the actual expansion for the game may be coming in late 2022, not first half as I was previously predicting. Although at the same time, something else going on right now with CD Projekt Red. They actually acquired a new game development studio. That was the Molasses Flood. And the interesting part about this is it is described how the Molasses Flood will be working in close cooperation with CD Projekt Red, but will keep their current identity and will not be merged with existing teams. The studio will be working on its own ambitious project that is based on one of CD Projekt's IPs. Details about the project will be announced in the future. And considering CD Projekt Red is seemingly already working on The Witcher 4, a lot of people are speculating that the existing IP in reference could be a new Cyberpunk game. On The Witcher front, they have quite a few games already. But overall, I just found this interesting. I'm not really sure what kind of game this could be. Molasses Flood released Drake Hollow already, which was kind of a cartoony-esque action-adventure game. Kind of hard to imagine how Cyberpunk would fit in with that, but in the past, CDPR has mentioned how they're really sticking or dedicated to rebuilding Cyberpunk and actually getting the game to a good reputation, so perhaps this fits in somehow. As far as when we might know more about all of this, November 30th is their next earnings release date. The stock has not been doing super well as of late. There's been a few positive days, but mostly some negative days over the past couple of months. And obviously the fact that things just continue to be relatively slow or getting pushed back is not helping that. But overall, I really do just find myself kind of confused as what's going on with Cyberpunk and CDPR overall. There's a few things that were look good or promising or just interesting. Like remember back when they released modding support tools and it almost looked like something might happen there, but then those are never really updated again. Or with the release of patch 1.3, they had that call and it looked like there'd be more communication going forward. And although not many people liked it, I personally was a fan of that additional communication. I liked the explanation they were giving there. But then we never really got anything like that again either, although we only got one smaller update after patch 1.3, so maybe that's why. And to me, it just kind of felt like they were trying different things, but perhaps things weren't working super well, and then they didn't really know where to land, and now maybe they're trying something else, almost like the No Man's Sky approach of not saying much of anything, but there's good things in the horizon. Maybe for a company that's been getting a lot of criticism for their lack of communication, just silently updating your roadmap to reveal there's no more content on the way is definitely surprising. I don't personally think they're going to be scrapping or abandoning Cyberpunk, but if I didn't know better, that might be what I was thinking. They seemingly still have a ton of people working on this game, working on the expansion, so maybe they're just really trying to kick off 2022 with a bang. But obviously, until then, we don't really know. That's the update on CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk. Definitely an interesting one. I have a feeling we're not going to be talking much about this company for the rest of the year outside of that earnings call if there's something of note. With that said, I thank you all again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for building a professional website. Stick around to hear more. As I get older and games move forward, it becomes harder for me to place myself in the past. For all of the conveniences offered in the current state of the industry, there are also an abundance of inconveniences. Long updates and download times, massive game sizes that can barely fit on a console's basic storage, anticipated games releasing in an unfinished state, expensive DLC packs and season passes for things that could have been included in the base game, and companies losing a lot of player respect after getting a taste of success. A lot of these things have become commonplace for the past decade, and they've only become more problematic with time. which is why starting up Metroid Dread on launch day was such a magical experience. I took the game home, put it in the Switch, and within moments, I was going through the intro sequence. No day one patches, no incessant company logos, no promise of DLC that was being held over, just an excellent, challenging, immersive, and infinitely replayable Metroid game. A game that was released in such a beautiful state and accounted for extravagant sequence breaks. Something that you could get invested in and remember for a long time. No strings attached. I haven't had an experience this pure with a brand new game in a very long time. The game took me back to a time when there were no updates or download times. When a game was done, that was it. You couldn't update it or patch it after the fact. It had to be bug-free on release, otherwise those bugs would become part of the game's legacy. On top of that, the entire game had to fit on a disc. No installation, no copying to the hard drive. You just pop the game in and play. I suppose I just craved the simplicity of an era lost to time. In my eyes, the last era in which these simple conveniences were commonplace was the 6th generation of consoles. This was the era in which my love for this medium of entertainment was born. And it's all thanks to the Nintendo GameCube. This is the story of a little lunchbox that went a long way. The GameCube was all about letting experiences come first. In doing so, the system left behind an astonishing library of fantastic games. It faced many hardships before it finally bit the dust. In this video, I'll be discussing the games that set the system apart from its competitors, its fight for relevance in the
like a hurry, you can call me Bruce Wayne. Fuck me, you will lose, man. Sample songs in GTV with the truth, man. Just run round my city, think everything's feeling sick, make you feel young, make you hurt. Put you in the dirt, turn you to a big sound boy, GTV. And you know me about that titties.
Just to name whether you're a cinematographer, video editor, game developer, or virtually anything else, you'll find this Squarespace likely has what you're looking for. And in my experience, it has been incredibly easy and fun to use. It's a great
Fake it to make it, nothing sacred is basic. All of 6 guns and face it, and I'm sending a raid.
third-party support and close partnerships with other studios. The most commonly cited issue was its use of cartridges. The system's competitors, the Sony PlayStation, Sega Saturn both used CD-ROMs for delivering games. These CDs held a maximum of 650 megabytes, whereas Nintendo 64 cartridges could only hold 64 megabytes. This limited what developers could do in many ways. Although they featured very fast or otherwise non-existent load times, developers were forced to work around the storage limitations by decreasing texture and sound quality, foregoing full-motion video in most cases, and reducing the overall amount of content they included if they wanted to avoid compressing assets. Usually, they'd have to do that anyway, because the texture cache was only 4 kilobytes in size. All of the storage limitations made full-scale RPGs like Final Fantasy VII impractical without major compromises. On top of that, cartridges were more expensive to produce than CDs. With all of this in mind, many major developers like Squaresoft, Capcom, Konami, Namco, and even Argonaut Software of Star Fox fame shifted their resources to the PlayStation. The competition was fierce, and while the Nintendo 64 was still a very technically impressive system for its time, it wasn't very easy to develop for unless you solely devoted your focus to understanding its architecture. Near the end of the system's life, Chief of Hardware Development at Nintendo, Genyo Takeda, looked back on the system's programming challenges with regret. However, developers had this opportunity to work directly and solely with the Nintendo 64 hardware. The games would speak for themselves. These games were the reason people remembered the system with great fondness. They don't remember the Nintendo 64 for its technical shortcomings. They remember the experiences. The hours spent racing in Mario Kart 64, the first time they beat Ganon in Ocarina of Time, or the countless slap battles they had in Golden. They remember the core experiences they had with the games on Nintendo 64, and I believe this remains true for the GameCube era. Now, I'm going to talk about the games that made the GameCube the incredible system that it was. Games that realized the fullest potential of the system's hardware, controller, peripherals, or niche audience to deliver experiences that you couldn't get anywhere else. But no matter what you decide to play on the GameCube, the console is unified by its main menu. You'd probably think that a little floating cube sitting in an empty black void would accompany some unsettling music, but the GameCube interprets this as a blank slate. An opportunity to sit still and reflect, change some settings, or maybe look at the many icons for the save files on your memory cards. Above all else, it asks a simple question. What do you want to play? Just hearing a few notes from its ambient music reminds me of how many memories I have of it. It is the purest, most evocative form of nostalgia I have, as that minimalistic, ambient bell pad piece connects me to every GameCube game I ever played as a kid. It transports me to a simpler time, and I think everyone needs that sometimes. Anyway, enough dawdling. Let's play some games.
Finally stop playing, you're a dummy, just pay me. We got east if you're raving, and we get them for Nathan. Got a ghost in my basement, he come out when it's raining. Fuck your team, you're all leeching, what a feature you're reaching. 100,000 we speaking, nails in coffins for trees. He got played, he's a sucker. You should out for each other. Make you fall in love. Space on my shit is stepping blood. I told my bitch don't give up. But we all know that we're all fucked. Come on, Gucci, don't get stuck. Blood runs like I'm the plug. Behind my crew, I switched up. What can I do? Yeah, it's up. If you put my car, yeah, don't touch. They don't say shit, they watch up. But you all quick, get stuck up. Maybe for a pick, yeah, bang gang boys in the car. Get a life, motherfucker. I bounce back like a flop. The brick bed with my brother. I'm working my cutter. Keep a knife in the duster. We got donuts and love. It can't help if you suffer. Come make you fall in love. Spikes on my shoes, stepping blood. I told my dudes don't give up. But we all know that we're all fucked. I'm on good shit, don't get stuck. Bad boys like I'm the plug. Behind my crew, I switched up. What can I do? Yeah, it's up. If you put my car, yeah, don't touch. They don't say shit, they watch out. If you are quick, it's stuck up. Maybe for a quick, yeah, watch out. We decided to myself, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. doesn't wanna drama, doesn't wanna drama, doesn't wanna call. If the night that is all I got, that is all I got, that is not enough. If you won't believe it's us, wanna be like that, that is not enough. Turning up, that is what I love, that is what I love, that is what I love. For this act, my songs, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. For this act, my songs, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. For this act, my songs, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. For this act, my songs, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. Iceman, jug with the Sprite, man. Big bands, gone off the perks, and I'm always still at work, man. Leaving the club, I don't fuck with church, man. I don't fuck with church, man. You ain't GTB or SB, you don't roll with us. Leave in the club, I don't give a fuck, a big bros. I'm rubbing up with Blade, we be rolling cracks. I don't give a fuck, you know we don't wanna match. I got boxes on boxes, I got boxes with cash. Slutty know that lean nigga come like, let's be GTB, always fucking roll with me. GTB and B, that's the fucking family. So I never gave a fuck since I was little. Pull up to the club and I'm dressing Tommy Hilfiger. You know what to do, got my bitch inside of me. Lake City, lean, do it, Freddy versus Jason. For this side, can I sauce? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. For this side, can I sauce? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. For this side, can I sauce? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. For this side, can I sauce? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Team Deathmatch. Mission clock is running.
No splash. That's a kill. Shut out. Profit wasted. EKIA.
UAV ready for deployment.
Battery, requesting UAV support.
Established perimeter, 10,000 feet AGL. UAV MTL 50% check. UAV priority request received. Rerouting.
War machine ready.
Battery killed. Be advised, hostile care package overhead. Be advised, hostile HCXD spotted. Battery killed. Confirming kill.
They're gone.
UAV inbound. Friendly care package incoming. HCXD inbound. Hostile care package overhead. Be advised, hostile HCXD spotted.
Sniper!
Nomad down.
Sentry deployed.